Okay, I want to start today because I know you've all got things you want to do. So let me start today. And today's session is actually the Motivational Monday number 43. Okay. Now, last week, I introduced the Grow coaching model, which is a simple agenda for a coaching session, whether it's a formal coaching session or impromptu coaching session. And Grow stands for goal, what you want, your reality, current reality, where are you now, the options, what you could do, including obstacles, what to avoid, then your will, okay, the way forward or what's next. It's a wrap up. Who will do what by when? You know that when you grow, in a physical sense, you become more mobile, you become more independent, and that is the purpose of coaching, so that you become more mobile and more independent. Today, I will explore some questions you can ask at each of the four stages of the Grow model. And these are just examples of questions that you can ask. As you get into the conversation, as you get more familiar, you will find it easier to ask questions that are relevant because you're listening. Okay. Now, 2 weeks ago, when we first started this series on coaching, we saw that the key to coaching is asking questions. Coaching isn't telling the coachee what to do. It's helping the coachee come up with their own answers by asking the right question at the right time. Alan Pease wrote the book Questions Are the Answers, from which we have the 5 solid gold questions, which really is an exercise in self-reflection. The coach asks questions not because he's smart or trying to be funny with you, but because he genuinely sees the coachee as the smart one, the one with all the answers, because he, the coachee, is able to do the same self-reflection 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So he's an expert on his own life. In coaching, the coach has much less information than the client, who has had a lifetime experience with himself and his environment. But the client may not be aware, or he may be conditioned to see or do things in a certain way. So these questions help bring clarity to both parties. Questions help the client see things differently. Like the blind man feeling around a big elephant. The trunk, is it a horse? The tail, is it a rope? The leg, is it a tree trunk? The ear, is it a fan? The side of the body, is it a wall? By you're helping him see the whole picture. Okay. Timothy Galway, in his book The Inner Game of Work, says a coach is eavesdropping on someone's thinking process. The client thinks aloud, and the coach asks questions to help the person clarify or advance his thinking. Transposing is a primary coaching tool where you put yourself in the other person's shoes, where you're trying to figure out, what am I thinking, what am I feeling, what do you want, asking all these questions. And you're listening non-judgmentally. Remember, it's non-judgmentally. You're asking questions not for the purpose of recommending solutions, but for the purpose of helping the clients think for themselves and find their own solutions. The coachee leaves feeling more capable of mobility, more independent. And that's really the goal, end of the day. Now, we're talking about coaching. How does this apply to our network marketing business, where the upline is the expert? He's the mentor, he's the guide. You can clearly direct, this is the best thing to do at this stage. But remember, when you have the habit of asking a question, when your downline comes up with the answer, he owns the answer. It's his answer. Okay. And you actually help him think deeper. Okay. So questions are a very, very good way of helping a person become independent. Okay, so much for why we ask questions. Let's share some possible questions and examples of what you can ask. So these are just examples. Okay, remember goal, GROW, first is goal. So here are some general questions to help people gain clarity about their goals. I'm just going to read out these questions to you. Um, you get the idea. Okay. So, what do you want to achieve from this coaching session? So, even from a session, you want to have a goal for that next half an hour or 1 hour. Okay, always have a goal for everything that you do. What do you want to get out of it? Okay. So, what do you want to achieve from this coaching session? That's a principle. Always setting goals first. What goal do you want to achieve? What would you like to happen with this particular goal? Okay. What do you really want? Okay. So sometimes we say a goal which is what our upline says, or we heard from somewhere our mother says. What is it that you really want? What's behind this goal? What would you like to accomplish? What result are you trying to achieve? Okay. So my goal is to get closer to my son. Okay. So what result do you want to achieve as a result of getting closer to him? Okay. What outcome would be ideal? What do you want to change? Goal involves change. Okay, so you're being direct. What is it that you want to change? Why are you hoping to achieve this goal? Okay, the why question. What will be the benefits if you achieve this goal? Okay, so what kind of, how different would your life be if you achieve this goal? Okay. Now, next week, okay, I'm going to show you a three-step process where you can identify and set the three most important goals, what we call pre-primary goals. That's next week. Okay. Okay, then after goals, we have reality, current reality. And the following are some questions designed to clarify the current reality. What's happening now? Okay, when you ask that question, it's what, who, when, how often, and all that. Okay, what is the effect or the result of this? Where are you now in relation to your goal? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you now? That's a similar question. Okay, 1 to 10. Have you already taken any steps towards your goal? How would you describe what you did? What progress have you made so far? Okay, same questions, okay, but clarifying questions. Okay, what is working well right now? What's working? Okay, what has contributed to your success so far? Okay, what is required of you? Why haven't you reached that goal already? What do you think is stopping you? What do you think was really happening? Do you know other people who have achieved that goal? Okay, so you're trying to see what's in that person's mind. What did you learn from doing this? What have you already tried? How could you turn this around this time? Okay, so someone who's tried many times. Okay, what could you do better this time? Okay, so if you asked your best friend, what would they say about you? Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how severe, how serious, how urgent is the situation? If someone said this to you, what do you think you would feel, or what do you think you would do? Okay, so these are some questions. There are thousands of questions you could ask. Okay, now obstacles and options. Okay, what obstacles or problems do you think would slow you down or derail you from achieving your goal? Okay, what roadblocks do you expect or require planning? How would you avoid or overcome them? What are some positive things about this obstacle? Yeah, that's a way of looking at it. Okay, what are your options? What do you think you need to do next? What could be your first step? What do you think you need to do to get a better result or get closer to your goal? What else could you do? Who else might be able to help? Who do you need to be? So we talk a lot about doing. Okay, so this is a being question. Who do you need to be? What would happen if you did nothing? What has already worked for you? Okay, so what would happen if you did nothing is a 5 solid goal question. Okay, if what would happen if you didn't have this? Okay, what has worked for you already? How could you do more of that? What would happen if you did that? What is the hardest, most challenging part of that for you? What advice would you give to a friend about that? That's a good way of asking. If someone were to ask you how to lose weight, what would your answer be? Okay. What would you, how would you gain, what would you gain or lose by doing that or saying that? If someone did that to you, what do you think would happen? What's the worst thing about that option? What's the best thing about that option? Which option do you feel ready to work on? Have you tackled this or similar situation before? What could you do differently? Who do you know who has encountered a similar situation? If anything was possible, what would you do? What else? And what else is a great question. What else? Okay. Yeah. Okay, then finally, W, will, way forward. What's next? Okay, so you're asking some questions to probe, try to get commitment to take action. Okay. How are you going to go about it now? What do you think you need to do right now? Tell me how you're going to do that. How will you know when you've done it? Is there anything else you can do? On a scale of 1 to 10, what is the likelihood of your plan succeeding? What would it take to make it a 10? What resources can help you? Is there anything missing? What will be one small step you can take now? When are you going to start? How will you know you have been successful? What will happen if you did not do this? What support do you need to get that done? What do you need from me, from others to achieve this? What are 3 actions you can take now that will make sense this week? On a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to doing this? What would it take to make it a 10? Okay, so there are many, many questions. I thought I'd just show you some examples of these questions. But the principle is you'll be asking questions and surprising yourself, and be surprised by what the coachee who is committed will come up with. Okay. So as I said, next week I will show you how you can help anyone identify and set 3 goals for themselves, which we will call primary goals. Okay. And you'll be able to do that in 30 minutes, but my session will just be 10 minutes.